and Jim Wright managed to get a word with John Fewkes at ringside.
Right, so we've got John Fewkes here, and just going to talk to John about the upcoming fight with John Murray, 29th of March in Nottingham. So how's things going then, John?
Things are going well actually, yeah. I've been training over. I've been out of the ring since October, but I've been ticking over training. It's been a bit of a pain actually, just waiting for get a definite date, and then the purse bids have gone out, and then John Murray was actually talking about boxing John Faxon, which put me in dark a little bit. So it's been hard mentally to keep tough, but now I've got a definite date. It's in my head now, and I'm ready. I'm just ready to go. I can't wait. It's a big opportunity for me.
So what kind of training will you be doing? What have you got any special plans with it being such an important fight?
No, not really. Apart from with it being a 10-rounder, just step up the running a bit now. I'll probably do a couple of 10 miles a week, or 1 10 mile a week, and then rest in my normal 6 or 7 mile runs. But like I say, I always train every fight as if it's a major fight. There's not going to be really no difference in my training. Obviously, I'll be mentally really up for this, which I am every fight anyway, but just be extra running, more sparring, get sparring in, get people into spar week. So I'm just going to be on the ball for it. I can't wait for it actually.
So what advantages do you think you'll hold over Murray?
Well, John Murray's a very good fighter. You can't deny that. I think he's 23-0 English champion. Got a lot of experience. He's boxed in Canada, Las Vegas. Boxed some good kids. Very strong, and he's very good at what he does. But I do think in myself I do have a better boxing brain, and I will be able to change my style to what I'll have to suit the fight. If I have to box him like I box Gary Reid, then I'll do that. If that don't work, if John figures that out and he's getting better than me, then I'll change it. I'll be able to stand and have a fight with him. I'll be able to back him up. I'm just willing to do whatever it takes, change everything, and whether John can do that, we'll have to see on March 29th.
So what kind of fight are you anticipating?
I'm anticipating a very tough fight. Like I said, John's a very good fighter. Tough, hits hard, very good body puncher as well. I'll have to be getting myself some for this one. But I'm looking for a tough fight where I'm going to have to use my brain. I'm going to have to box. Excuse me, I'm going to have to box. But I am willing to do anything. I have to change it after I have a fight. I will have to fight. But I'm expecting a lot. I never expect to go in and blast anybody or anything, and especially in this case when I'm boxing the calibre of boxer I'm fighting. But I'll just do anything to win. I'm willing to do anything. I'm going to be ready for it.
That's fantastic. Thanks for that then, John.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Cracking straight on with business then, and let's talk to Terry Dooley about Saturday night's big card in Blackpool, promoted by Steve Wood. So last night Brian Rose fought Mano Solari. Tell us all about it, Terry.
It was a pretty decent fight as it goes. It was a draw over 6 rounds. Mano took the first 3 rounds. The second round in particular, Brian was a bit hesitant with his shots, and Mano was a pretty free-swinging guy. Caught Brian to the tempo with I think it was a southpaw left hook right at the end of the round, about 10 seconds to go, and Brian's legs did a bit of a funny dance. And to be honest, at that point it was looking like the 1 minute rest between rounds might not be enough time for him to get his legs underneath him, but he recovered from that pretty well. Got behind his jab a bit more in the next 3 rounds, started putting a few right hands out, but Mano's a pretty dangerous guy. He stopped Conception earlier in his career, and he's one of these do-or-die type of southpaw sluggers, so it's a good learning fight for Brian. I don't think he was too happy with the draw, but 3 rounds apiece was pretty much the fairest result possible in that situation.
And you fancy a return?
I'd like to see a return, yeah. I mean, I've seen Mano fight a few times. I've seen him spar with Kietan as well, so I know he's one of those guys who always gives his all. He obviously really fancied it last night. Brian was a bit tentative early in the fight, so it'd be interesting to see what Brian could do in a return fight, and equally it's interesting to see what Mano could do in a return fight. He might fancy putting his punches out there a bit earlier than usual, but to be fair, last night he pretty much got going after about 30 seconds, so Mano's going to be Mano no matter when they have the return fight.
On to Jack Arnfield then, the local lad from Blackpool, just 18, and he's now 4-0 with 2 inside. He beat David Kirk. Any good?
It's a pretty decent fight. It wasn't the greatest fight. The most interesting thing about the fight, I'd say, was David Kirk's hairstyle, which once the punches got going, his hair was flying about left, right and centre. So
has he got the shaggy dog look going on again?
He's got the shaggy hairdo back. I mean, I'm not one to criticise Ted, the same hairdo a few years back, but It doesn't help when someone's throwing shots at you and your air's bouncing about all over the place. He did well, Jack. He just got behind his jab, started putting the right hands over. Landed a few right hands, but it was mostly single shots. Some right. He was getting decent advice between rounds as well from Dominic Ingalls, telling him to use different angles and different types of movements to open Jack up a bit more, but David just didn't seem to be able to put that into place. But I think that might be more of a case of Jack constantly putting his jab out and putting the right hand over. It was a fairly scrappy fight, but the crowd really enjoyed it. I suppose it was a chance for them to see Jack back in his hometown fight in front of them all.
And anything to get excited about this Jack Arnfield then?
Yeah, he's the type of fighter I like to watch. He's quite tall and rangy. He puts his jab out well, gets the right hand going behind the jab, and he's pretty decent with the left hook as well. Obviously Bobby Rim is trying to get him going with the left hook to the body, which is something they've been doing with Brian Rose as well. And to be fair, Jack's had a few stoppages in earlier fights and looked pretty wicked doing so. So last night was just a chance for him to face an awkward guy, giving him lots of different angles, and he seems to do it well really. And he is one to look out for in the future, I'd say, especially if he can get more power going on his right hand and left hook to the body.
On to John Case then, a featherweight. Again, 4 unbeaten and 2 inside. He beat experienced and hard Steve Gethin. How did he get on?
It wasn't John's best performance so far. He admitted that pretty much after the fight. Said it was just a learning curve for him. I gave Steve a few of the rounds. I thought Steve was putting some decent work out and always testing John. It's just a case that John's shots on the outside, a lot of them weren't landing particularly flush. And on the inside, being a fledgling pro, John hasn't really made the transition yet, being a really good inside fighter, so there wasn't a lot of stuff going on the inside, so it was difficult for John. He just got as many shots off as he could. Some of them were hitting the gloves, but he was managing to score points as well. But to impress with Steve, he kept coming forward and pushed John pretty forward. I'd say it was John's toughest fight thus far, so it's a decent learning experience for John, and he had plenty of food for thought afterwards.
Grand job. Let's talk about the 2 Manchester welterweights on the bill. Chris Johnson stopped Dave Murray in the 4th. Chris Johnson's had 8 fights. He's won 7, lost 1 with 4 inside. Good scrap between local lads?
Yeah, he had a good fight last night, Chris. He had to be pretty patient in the fight. He kept coming in behind his jab. He was counter-punching earlier and was picking his shots quite well. And that fight got the crowd going pretty good as well. There was a pretty good atmosphere for that fight. And it's a case of both lads really coming forward and putting the shots out and giving it the best they could.
One of Oliver Harrison's lads was on the left side of the bill, Martin Murray. He beat Dean Walker over sit. He's 3 unbeaten now. What do you think?
I like watching Martin. He's a short, stocky type fighter, but he's pretty good with it. He's constantly coming forward and he really does settle down on his shots. In many respects, in that sense, he reminds me of Benson Purcell, who's a similar committed type of puncher. And Martin just kept coming forward last night, putting his shots out. I've seen him have better performances than the one he had last night, but he had a guy in front of him who was messing about a little bit and taking a lot of steam off the shots, so it's just a case of Martin just getting the points in and having a good 6-round workout. But as long as he keeps putting his shots out like that, he should have no problems. Now,
a fellow without any stoppages on his record from Bolton, having his 2nd fight, Rick Goddins. Is he a light middle, light welter?
Last night he was boxing at welterweight. He was 10 stone 5 last night.
How did he get on? He won on points?
Yeah, he won on points. It's a pretty decent fight. Early on in the fight, his opponent, Sir Foyle Durfees, was caught by a right hand. He had a pretty loose guard as well, and when he got caught with the right hand over the guard, it bounced him back a little bit, and he basically went into survival mode after that. He was also blocking quite low at times, and he was tying Rick up, so it was a pretty difficult night for Rick, but he just kept his head together, kept coming forward behind his shots, and although at times there was moments when he could become quite frustrated, he kept his cool throughout and just put his shots together and took the 6-round win. His opponent looked a bit like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but there was no sensational action from him. He just basically ducked low, came in, tied up and caught a few right hands on the way out. Plus his balance was never great, so whenever he got caught with the right hand, he kind of bounced back a little bit, so it made it worse than it was, but I don't think there was any chance of him being stopped at any point.
Jolly good, and on to the last fight, a stoppage in the 2nd